Well, hey, Vessel Church. In this final identity insight on prayer, we turn our attention to verse 13 and the reality of temptation and evil that we'll face in this life. There is an interesting tension between the temptation that comes out in this verse, but before we get to that, take one more opportunity to read through Matthew 6, 9 through 13. So there are two understandings behind the Greek word that we understand as temptation, which actually is one of the words. The other word is trial. James in 1, 2 through 3 says, "Count it all joy when you meet various trials, because in the end they produce a stronger, more perfect faith." Yet here Jesus is modeling a prayer that asks the Lord to deliver us from temptation, or what we would also call trials. So which is it? Do we joyfully anticipate trials, or do we ask the Lord to deliver us from temptation? All of this hinges on the proper understanding of temptation. Jesus' temptation here has to do with the kind that would push us to the point of sin, the kind that is from the evil one, wanting to lead us astray. In my perspective, if I look at my own life, I don't need anyone else to lead me to temptation that causes me to sin. I've been great at finding new ways to sin my whole life. I understand a need for a Savior that leads me away from temptation, that defends me from the ploys of the evil one. In Paul's letter to the Corinthians, he reminds them in 1 Corinthians 10:13, "No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man." This makes the battle clear that all of us are up against. Every one of us has to battle temptation in our lives. But Christ makes it clear in Matthew 6 that we don't fight this battle alone. We run to our God daily with this battle. We see this need for God's intervention in the last hours before Jesus' arrest. As he prayed, modeling the need to go to the Father, he instructed the disciples on two occasions in Luke 22. Pray that you may not enter temptation. So going back to 1 Corinthians 10, Paul reminds us that God is faithful to deliver us from temptation by providing a way of escape. Two things stand out in this prayer. We will be tempted. That is a common part of life, that we live in a broken world that continually is messed up. Yet God has provided a way out through being a people of prayer. We must be people that continually run to Him with all of our needs. He is ready with arms wide open to lead us to righteousness. So what are the temptations that you still battle with? Do you continually take those to the Lord? Let me also encourage you to broaden that support by asking some brothers or sisters from your NC to intercede on your behalf as well. As you gather with your MC next, give a testimony on how God is providing victory over temptation in your life. And then celebrate our God together. Let's never cease to be a people of prayer, but in all things go to the Lord, ready and willing to hear from Him. Love you guys. Hope you have a great weekend.